I'd like now to introduce a beautiful young woman who I met earlier today. Her name's Alana. She's travelled from Queanbeyan to be with us to share her cancer journey. Alana has been supported by the Sony Foundation with over 70 nights of accommodation whilst being treated for brain cancer here in Sydney. And in the grandstand in front of me, Alana's family, mum, Robin, dad, Paul, her twin sister, Tara, siblings, Rhiannon, Caitlin, James, his partner, Lily, along with her two best friends, Charlotte and Jess, and her doctor as well. It's lovely to see you all. I know how proud you are of Alana. We are too. Here she is.
Hi, I'm Alana. I'm almost 22 and I'm still alive. Cancer isn't going to take me that easily. This speech was hard to write because of all the feelings my journey brings up, as well as having forgotten so much. Because my tumour affects my short-term and long-term memory, Mum and Dad helped me remember its intensity and all the difficulties we went through. At 16, I was diagnosed with a high-grade glioma in the middle of my brain, about the size of a golf ball. Everyone, raise a hand, close it into a fist like this. This is your brain. This is the front, this is the back, and this is the brain stem. If you put your finger in the middle there, you'll find my tumour. It's still there, and I've got the pictures to prove it. Doctors didn't know if I was going to make it to my 18th birthday. My world turned upside down so quickly. I felt really scared, confused, and numb because I'd never faced something as intense and terrifying in my life. Before I was diagnosed, I played piano and netball, I did performing arts at school, and was starting the drama production of that year. I was hanging out with my best friends, Tara, Charlie, and Jess, every day and was really close with my family. It was 2020. I was in year 10. In July and August, I missed a lot of school because of headaches. Mum noticed that my left pupil was dilated and off to the side, so she took me to see my optometrist. We weren't too worried, just thinking I had a lazy eye. But instead of giving me an eye patch, she immediately sent us to the emergency department at Canberra Hospital on Friday, 14th of August. I was scared and confused and felt it must be something really serious. At the hospital, they gave me a CT scan, shined a light in my eye to track movement, and did lots of other tests. I got more and more anxious as I waited. I remember making a TikTok in bed to pass the time. It was just a silly little dance. I was so young, just 16. The doctors initially thought they could treat me in Canberra, but quickly realised they didn't have the knowledge of childhood brain tumours. So, on Sunday, August 16th, 2020, Mum and I were airlifted to Sydney Children's Hospital to see a specialist. This was during COVID, and even though I was only allowed one visitor, they let me see all my family before we flew out. That shows how bad it was. The doctors in Canberra told my dad that I probably only had a few months left. Then came the big C. It was hard to be moved so far away from my siblings and dad without knowing if I'd be back. When I got to Sydney Children's Hospital, they gave me an MRI and biopsied my tumour, which showed it was cancerous. When the doctors told me, I was speechless. I felt numb. The doctor's words were going in one ear and out the other. It was like a daydream or a nightmare right in front of me. that I couldn't really understand. In only 3 weeks, I went from a normal teenage life to a threateningly sick patient. Everything happened so fast as soon as I got to Sydney. As this was during COVID, my siblings and dad couldn't come to see me. Mum and dad were going through a divorce, so my sisters stayed with our big sister Rennie, and my brother stayed with dad. It was just me and Mum stuck in Sydney. So she wasn't able to be there for my siblings when they needed her. It took 2 surgeries to get a big enough biopsy. They did special tests trying to figure out more about my brain tumour and what the mutation was. We stayed in the hospital for nearly 8 weeks while they worked out what to do next. We went home briefly, then I had another surgery to put a shunt in my brain to drain excess fluid. That's why I yawn a lot. And then 6 weeks of radiation in October and November. On November 26th, I was so happy when my twin sister Tara and my best friend Jess and Charlie came to Sydney to hear me ring the bell on my last round of radiation. Yay! I was finally able to leave Sydney and go home just in time for my year 10 formal 2 days later. I was so relieved that I'd finished radiation in time and was able to be home and celebrate my formal with my best friends. I had barely been at school since August and did not want to miss formal, but I'd been left with brain damage, although my dad says it's hard to tell. During radiation treatment and through to January 2021, I lost most of the movement in my right side. This meant I had to cradle my right arm and had to be supported when I walked. I could barely walk from my bedroom to the bathroom without Mum's support, only 5 meters. At my worst, I used a wheelchair because I got fatigued so easily. My memory and vision were also affected. I don't remember much about this time. Since I had declined so much in such short time, before my January brain scan, Mum and I sat down and talked about what I wanted if I died. One thing I wanted was a colourful funeral. No black, just lots of pink. I made my will. I felt relieved to have a plan for if things turned for the worst. We also talked with my siblings about things that we wanted to do together, regardless of the outcome. Dr. Neve Manoharan and the medical team were amazed when Mum came to them saying, we need to look at palliative care. Because for most people at this stage, the doctors are trying to help families understand the severity. In early 2021, I started an experimental medication which had been successful in treating low-grade gliomas, but not very effective on high-grade gliomas. My doctor suggested giving me the medication because I had no other options. Everyone was surprised and pleased at how well I responded to the medication. My tumour started slowly shrinking at each monthly scan. Eventually, I started feeling better and could walk again. I made it to my Year 12 graduation. That was such a big milestone for me, and I felt so... I felt so happy and excited because it meant I had made it through. I was still going. My cancer didn't stop me from completing my schooling, and I'm proud to say I want to do so much more. The cost of being in Sydney so often was difficult for Mum, even though she loved the drive and liked being there. Previously, Mum took on an extra job to pay for getting divorced, but had to quit them to take care of me when I got sick. During COVID, when we got home, her natural therapies business was also affected because of many isolation rules. Being far... Mum! Being far from home, I really miss my siblings, especially my twin sister Tara. We hadn't been apart for more than a weekend before. I really struggled with being isolated in Sydney. I missed playing piano and singing and going to Hungry Jack's with my best friends. The burgers are better when mum's not looking. I was so homesick. During my treatment in Sydney, my youth nurse coordinators, Kath and Fiona, told us about the Sony Foundation's You Can Stay accommodation, that we could stay at for free at Quest Apartments, 10 minutes from the hospital. Quest was like a home away from home. I had my space, Mum had hers, plus a kitchen and dining room. Having my own space meant I could be alone but still have Mum close by. Mum could do her online work or writing without disturbing me while I was sleeping. Time away from the hospital gave us breathing space and a chance to feel normal, not a sick patient wearing a wristband and a hospital gown. My siblings could stay at Quest with me. I loved them being there, just being silly and hanging out. It felt really homey. When Mum went to see clients, my big sister Rennie and Tara stayed with me at Quest. We even got to farewell Tara at the airport when she left for the US to work as a camp counselor for 3 months. In March 2024, the MRI showed the tumour was growing again. The meds had stopped working. I felt so scared because last time was intense and left me worse off. I was terrified of getting sicker than before. I had another biopsy in May, but it was unsuccessful. The tumour was hard to get to, right in the middle of my brain. They said we might lose too much of me. So I had radiation treatment again from July to September. If something happened at home, you would think it would be easy going to Canberra Hospital just across the border. But that has its own difficulties because it's in a different state. The hospital systems don't talk to each other well. It was often easier to deal directly with my specialist in Sydney and my GP in Queanbeyan. Now I'm set up for both hospitals. But when you are that sick, it's good having somewhere in Sydney to call home. That's what Quest was for us. If there was something I wish wasn't so taboo about cancer, it would be that you have to be sad for the person dealing with it. Don't make it weird. I'm still Alana, and that won't change. I wish people... I wish people had more knowledge about sickness, death, and dying, and it wasn't such a big unknown and had so much fear around it. You gain a sense of freedom by talking about your feelings in a situation, so why hold it in just because it's to do with dying? My family uses a lot of dark humor to cope because it means we can laugh and don't have to dance around the topic of my cancer. My siblings still argue, half joking, but I know they mean it, about who gets what when the time comes. Oh. My sister Tara says, you never know. I might be the first to die. I might get hit by a car. Or you could die. We never know who's going first. Last year, I turned 21. I had eye surgery to straighten my the muscles of my eye, sorry. I still have check-ins with the eye clinic in Sydney. When I saw my oncologist, Neve, who is here today, shout out to Neve. After my surgery, she told me that I'm in the less than 5% still alive after 5 years with this kind of cancer. Even when we go to appointments, I know I'm unusual. I don't walk in with a frown. I mean, these people have saved my life more than once. I walk in laughing and smiling, but it doesn't mean I'm not scared sometimes. My doctors would look forward to what stories we had, what I had been doing, what adventures we had been on, not just formal hospital talk. When doctors saw my diagnosis, they would make an assumption that I would be down in the dumps because it's such a serious case. You never assume, because it makes an ass out of you and me. I see life as an opportunity, and I take these opportunities whenever they come. My mum creates an environment where things happen. Mum and I look at experiences as memories. So instead of saying, no, you have limitations, we say, how can we make this happen? Family trips, shared experiences with friends, supercar rides, being an extra in a TV show, taking a makeup class, and I've many more memories to make. We used to do things in case we ran out of time, but now we do them because with all this time, shouldn't we all live life to the fullest? I've even been to a spilt milk festival, but that was a whole other adventure. My message to anyone struggling with cancer is, live every day as if it's your last. Because like my twin sister Tara says to me, you never know. I could get in a car crash tomorrow, or you could die. Just because I'm sick doesn't mean she won't be the first to go. Now that's dark humor. Most people don't think today could be their last, but it's what forces me to focus on the positives of life. I like to live every day with this in mind. If the good times are today, I want to remember them and be remembered for the good times. So why leave it sad? Leave the world a happy place. Thank you to everyone who has supported me on this journey, especially my family and friends who are here today. And particularly to my doctors. A big thank you to Sony Foundation and You Can Stay for giving us a home away from home. And please give generously. You Can Stay has made such a massive difference to me and my family and to many others like us. Thank you.
Well done, Alana. 1,000 people, a standing ovation. Not many people get that, I can tell you. Fantastic, well done. Just very quickly, you said you've got a lot more to do. Is it being a scriptwriter? Is it being an actress? What do you want to do? I think you've got acting in your veins.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for opening the window for us today. Thank you to Dr. Neve. Fantastic. Thank you to the family. And thank you to Alana.
Thank you.
Very magnificent.